Tariq Bokhari is on this for us, a former member of the Charlotte City Council, joining us live. All right, you heard the latest. We're going to get more on the federal side here, I think, in just a minute. Your perspective, knowing the city, also having done some work for the federal government recently about all of this, especially the suspect, federal crime charge now.
Well, that's great to hear. And listening to your affiliate reporter down here locally, I will tell you, the only reason you're seeing this response from the mayor and the city right now is because of this massive viral national attention. There would have been no such attention if all of you guys hadn't started covering this and putting the pressure down, waking everyone up here locally. So I really view it as hollow words when you look back on this terrible tragedy of a 23-year-old beautiful young woman who had gone through so much to come here, was working so hard, and went through that. And then the first statement that we heard out of the mayor before anyone was really paying attention was apologizing for the criminal and saying to not villainize them, didn't even mention her name as the victim. So we are where we are. No one wants to be in a tough situation like this. But right now, all of the eyes and the right people in leadership in the federal government, state government, and beyond are all looking here, and they're going to hold, hopefully, to account what we've been trying to get done for over a decade.
I think everybody either agrees or should agree with just about everything you just outlined there. I guess where the discussion starts is as to whether or not, I've heard this from some local officials, I'm sure you have as well in Charlotte, this is more of an isolated incident versus something that, we should be talking more about on a national scale and part of a wider trend. So what do you say about that part of it when people bring it up?
Yeah, that has been the Groundhog Day of my last 10 years of existence, where it's literally the approach by the Democrat mayor and leadership here. And it's the same that I saw in D.C. or Chicago or L.A. or the different places that across the entire country that are kind of going through similar things. They market their way into saying all is well from a crime and public safety perspective. And they want to say, oh, this is isolated. There's no danger here. But ultimately, people know they're playing games with numbers. They just want a sales tax referendum to be passed for $20 billion on the ballot. And they don't want to face the truth and the reality that 17,000 property crimes in the first half of this year, or 8,000 vehicle larcenies and thefts, or an average of 4 violent crimes every single day the first half of this year is not acceptable. It's not okay. And it took this deep tragedy and all this viral pressure to come down and make them essentially recognize that there's a problem. The next step is going to be difficult, but we can't let it stop here. We've got to find a silver lining in this terrible situation.
Let me ask you about that next step. You say playing games with numbers. I have some on the screen here in terms of crime rankings. You went over some as well. Overall here, violent crime reports, rates per 100,000, and the ranking of Charlotte, 17th among largest U.S. cities. So your perspective or kind of analysis on those numbers and how we should see them, A, but B, if you do think crime is a problem that needs to be tackled in Charlotte, how specifically? Are you talking about the National Guard? What types of conversations do you think we should be having in Charlotte?
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's important for a lot of viewers across the country who may not be that familiar with Charlotte. If you're from a place like Chicago or New York City, and you look at those numbers, you're like, oh, that seems pretty under control. Charlotte, while it's a big city and we're very proud of it as a top 20 size city, it is not the same. These are really significant things. And when you talk about 17,000 property crimes, which lead their way up the chain to other things, it just touches a lot more people every single day that don't feel safe. So, what my hope is right now is that the market all is well. And then this approach we've seen last year when 4 of our officers died by a repeat violent criminal offender and another 5 were wounded. We had a huge fight with the police chief and the mayor over not giving them outer carrier vests because they said they look too militarized. And that's not what we want in our urban liberal city like Charlotte. Or a couple of years before that, bus drivers were getting shot and killed, and they didn't want to put in bulletproof vests because they felt it was a militarized feeling. Well, unless you're going to get serious about crime and actually get proactive about it, you have to do uncomfortable things like that. I hope that now with this trend we're seeing nationally, and I hope it's not bringing the National Guard, but I hope, it's whatever it takes to get them to take it seriously because people are dying. Our officers need to be supported, and this is preventable.
Okay, thank you, Tariq. On this crime, I think we're going to hear more momentarily from DOJ, so we'll cover that.